Hey, everybody. If you enjoy our show, please follow us on all the platforms. Facebook, mostly, because we're old, or at least I am. I guess the others are younger. Anyway, it's you can email us at greatandsecretknowledge@gmail.com. You can find me all over the place at El Jefe Tacoma. And we got a lot of stuff we talked about in this one, from The Expanse to various forms of Sherlock Holmes, the Culture series. So if you like what you hear, check those out as well. So that said, enjoy the show.
I can't clap now because I don't have 2 hands.
Just bang on the table.
Yeah, I can do some kind of smacking sound or something like.
Or slap your forehead. You're listening to The Great and Secret Knowledge. I'm Jeff.
I'm Sofia.
Hello, Sofia.
Tjena.
It's a beautiful day here in Tacoma. How's things there in Stockholm?
It's dark here. But it was pretty nice weather this weekend. We have gotten over the worst of the darkness, and it's actually a lot of snow, so we weren't sure if we were getting any because it's been weird, the weather. But now it's gotten really snowy, and yesterday it was very sunny as well, so that's always a nice combination.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
You got to put on sunscreen.
Yeah, no. It's very, very light sun, but yeah. It's great when you have the sun and the snow. It's really becomes very bright. Feels like sun therapy. Or what do you call it? Light therapy, I suppose.
All right. Well, we're doing Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 2, Episode 3, Elementary Dear Data. What did you think about this episode?
I liked it. I wasn't sure for a bit of it, but in the end I thought it was very nice overall.
How did it feel to be in another episode where you're stuck in the holodeck and the safeties are off?
I mean, it does bring up, like, there are a lot of questionable morals in this episode, but I kind of also found it interesting enough to go with it because I thought that you have to have some kind of conflict. Even, like, if everybody was just like, everything was working all the time, it's okay, that's fine. But, like, it really seems like you should not be able to disable, the safeties of the holodeck just by giving instructions.
Yeah, I mean, it's called a failsafe for a reason. It's supposed to shut down the entire system. Although I guess in this case, maybe it has a protocol to protect human life, because if the program shut down all at once and Moriarty was in control, it could have killed Geordi and Data.
Yeah,
they mentioned that when Pulaski has been kidnapped.
Yeah, but it also seems weird because people haven't they shut off the holodeck in the past when people were on it?
Yeah, I'm thinking of that Dixon Hill episode, the detective.
That's when they also were stuck, right?
Yeah.
But what I mean is that I feel like, maybe I'm mixing it up with something, but I feel like people have been on the holodeck and then someone has come in and they have kind of been like, oh, the holodeck is off now. And then they didn't die. So I'm not sure why you couldn't just turn it off.
Yeah.
But maybe it's a difference between
if it's an episode or not.
That too. No, but I mean, maybe there's a difference between like a kind of controlled shutdown and just like, just like abort everything. That's might be different.
It's like one of those shows where there's somebody that's stuck in a dream and they're like, you can't pull them out or they'll die.
Yeah, that's true.
And they came up with, in this show, safety protocols, but it's a weird word for something that should never happen.
Yeah, but I agree, or I think that it also kind of works in that this holodeck is so useful. So imagine if they didn't have this when they were on these long journeys, it would be so dangerous to not have it. So I could also see it being like, okay, it's fine. Like maybe sometimes people will die, but we still need it.
Yeah, we don't watch the shows where like half the crew dies in a holodeck incident.
Yeah, it's like, you know, in the first episode of The Expanse, and they are like, they have this crazy captain is just like in the cabin walking on this dirt and stuff. I feel like that's what happens if they don't have the holodeck. Everybody's just like, we're too far away in the darkness.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Could it help isolation? I feel like we've talked about this, the idea that like it's so much better than ChatGPT, so maybe it could help you emotionally and intellectually, like it could be trained on the best therapists in history, right? And you could do therapy in there.
Yeah, totally. But I was more thinking about just having a kind of an outdoor space, in that they're just indoors in this kind of artificial environment and stuck, you know, with the same people. They can't leave, like they can't go somewhere else. So it's kind of like this outlet to get a different kind of place.
There's a episode in later Star Trek Voyager in which a captain of a ship that doesn't have it kind of loses his shit. And all he has is a device that creates like a happy memory. And it's very short, and it's just like, it's basically some rocks on the water that he sits on, but it has this sort of addictive effect. So it's not ideal for connecting with the earth and the sun and stuff, you know. It's got that drawback. But yeah, you'd have to, I mean, that's why Starship people like take shore leave, you know. Otherwise they'd go a little cuckoo bananas.
Yeah.
How long did they say in The Expanse their runs took to get water?
Good question. I mean, I don't remember, actually.
I want to say it's like between 6 and 9 months.
Yeah, that could be.
Depending on how far away the asteroid is from the wherever they're getting their water.
Yeah. Isn't it, I guess if we... now I don't remember. I watched so much sci-fi, I should be able to tell, like, what is the shortest... I think it depends on the technology, I suppose, because I was thinking about, like, how far in time is it between Mars and the Earth and this kind of thing. And it depends on where they are in their orbits.
Right. There's a whole chapter in the book about how you'd think going to Mars would be super fast, but at certain times of the year, it's even faster to go to some more remote place.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Depending on the angles or whatever.
Yeah, that would be
positions.
interesting. Just being like, I'm going to go to Neptune instead. It's just like, it takes the same length.
I don't know about Neptune.
I guess it's too far. Okay, what about
They get farther and farther apart when you get out
okay.
past Mars, I think.
I don't remember any of them. We don't have a good sheet in Swedish. It's something about strawberries, and I keep forgetting it. It's like, you know, with which order the planets are.
Yeah, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, asteroid. Wait, is the asteroid belt between Earth and Mars? I can't remember.
I feel like if
I
it
think
was...
it is.
Do you think? I think if it was, it would be much more of a thing where it's like, we're going to Mars, you have to go through the asteroid belt. Ah. I feel like it's beyond it.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it's Mars, then Jupiter.
Oh, it's Jupiter after
asteroid
that.
belt,
Okay.
then Jupiter.
Mm.
And then after that, it's Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. Oh, Saturn. Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto.
Saturn is somewhere.
We're already Googling, folks. We haven't even started this episode. Between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. Yes, of course.
Mm.
Which is why they're called the Outer Planets Alliance. The Belter organization.
That's true. So they're like in that asteroid belt.
Yeah.
It's funny though that the line would be so clear, that the ones that are on Mars, they're like the inners, and then the ones that are outside of Mars, then they're suddenly totally different. It's like, you would think if I were on Earth, I would think everybody out there is the same, I wouldn't really feel like that much different between Mars.
Well, that's the thing about racism, right? Or like nationalism is there's gradations of prejudice or whatever, like colorism on Earth. We dislike first generation immigrants more than second, and and dislike foreigners, even more, and it's so gross. But if Venus was colonized, would people that work there be in the Outer Planets Alliance, or would they have a whole different thing?
Oh yeah, good question. I think that they would be the inners as well, just
by default of position.
Yeah, I think so. Just because it's something about maybe also being closer to the sun. I could imagine that it's useful. Although Mars is not close at all to the sun, I don't know if they would even have so much use of it. But yeah, it's that was one of the things I liked in the book. So they talked about how the cities on Venus had failed, so they kind of went into okay, this is why they are not colonized Venus.
Yeah, I mean, you can't land on it, so it would just be space stations.
No, they were supposed to have some kind of balloons, but it didn't work in that book. Yeah,
wow.
so you could have these balloons that are floating in the atmosphere.
Oh, like Bespin in Star Wars. Little cloud cities. That's where Lando Calrissian betrays them in Empire Strikes Back. Spoilers for 1979.
I haven't watched that in such a long time. I think I only watched it once or something.
Yeah, I've watched it 2 or 3 times. I own it. But it's so heavy, I almost never watch it.
What? Is it a VHS? How is it heavy?
Oh, heavy as in emotionally affecting.
I thought you meant it was the physical media was so heavy you couldn't watch it.
At first, I wasn't sure if you were doing the Christopher Lloyd bit from Back to the Future, where he goes, what does mass got to do with it?
Oh, yeah. No, I was totally thinking about heavy. I think because you said I own it, but it's heavy. I was like, oh, okay. It's a heavy.
Yeah, no, it's
movie.
a digital download. All right, let's go to space. What do you say? Stardate, blah blah blah. We're at some coordinates in the middle of nowhere. They've got some time to kill before they rendezvous with the USS Victory.
Yeah, it would be funny if the star dates were not even numbers. If there was stardate Q SQ KY or something.
Kiwi Jehovah.
Yeah.
There is something like that in Doctor Who in the Russell T Davies era. At a certain point, they just start adding words to the numbers.
That's fun.
Down in engineering, Geordi and Data are chatting, and Geordi shows off the ship model that he's built, which is really cool. He's really into the old-timey sailing ships.
Yeah. I wonder, it's funny, I like this discussion when he's talking about how, I want to be on this ship, and Data's what? You work with antimatter, what would you do on this sailing ship? And he's but this is natural to want to kind of want what you don't have. But I wondered, like, is he aware of like how terrible it would be to be on a ship, or is he just like, I don't care, like I'm not seriously considering it, or is he really being like, I would like to be on this ship?
Yeah, like if you're into car models, do you want to drive old cars or do you just like the models? Because like he wouldn't, unless he's training in the holodeck, he wouldn't know how to like be an effective sailor on a ship of this type.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. Like, is he just like the aesthetics, or is he really interested in like the sailing functions?
I bet they have a holodeck program that's like the difficulty's really low, so you don't have to like maybe it runs you along the rigging for you, so you don't have to like build up all those calluses and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like that is a intense manual labor job, except for like the high officers, I suppose.
Yeah, I can imagine. And just the way that all of the practicalities, like the food and the sleeping and like the hygiene and everything, it's like not super comfortable.
Oh my God. I can't imagine staying in the holodeck overnight. That seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, people are in line. They're like, now it's my turn. But I don't remember.
Yeah.
Could they make food in the holodeck? Yeah, they could make something like.
I was just talking about this with somebody on Discord. They can make food. People eat in there. And the question is, because it uses transporters and replicators, it could easily send you replicated food, or it could just straight up transport you food from the kitchen, if there was a kitchen on board.
Yeah.
So you could have full banquets there with either fake or real food. But here's the question. If it's fake food, like illusion food, would it fill you up? Would it satisfy cravings? And if you left the holodeck, would it vanish from your guts?
It would have to,
and
yeah.
You're hungry again?
I imagine it would have to vanish, because I think when they talk about the holodeck in this episode, they talk about how the energy is actually can be made into matter. But it seems like, as far as I understand, maybe it's like the energy has to be continuous. So they have to keep just pumping energy in for the matter to stay there. So if they leave the holodeck, then it disappears. So maybe it's a kind of a diet where people just like eat this holodeck food and then it's out of it.
Okay, so this brings us into the territory of eating disorders, right? like you have your strict Starfleet diet, but you could be going into the holodeck and just mowing down on cupcakes and shit. And then as soon as you come out, you're like, I'm as fit as ever.
Yeah. But would it be bad, though? Because I'm thinking the body would still react. So what if you're eating all this sugar and then your insulin goes up and then it's like,
right,
no, it's
the
not
dopamine,
actually. Yeah, there's no sugar in there.
Serotonin.
Yeah, but even like the digestive functions are still going to be the same.
Yes. Well, I mean, your body prepares in all sorts of different ways for digestion.
Yeah.
In many ways, it responds immediately, certainly to water. And certain drugs like go right to your brain, especially if you have an eating disorder, right? Like the whole point is to disorder those chemicals as a sort of like pleasure pain thing or compulsion. So that could get out of hand.
Yeah, that would be really, really weird if you're just like having this kind of hallucinatory eating disorder experience.
Oh, that's a great name for it. I don't think they've ever done a Star Trek episode about this. We should make one.
Yeah. I don't know what would be it's just that conflict. This is like, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the ship's counselor would have to get involved maybe. Maybe the person has a partner who's like at their wit's end. Or maybe their work is slipping. You know, addiction, compulsion problems.
Oh, yeah. They're hiding it, you know. There's like, I'm here in the holodeck having sex or something. And then it's like, no, actually, I'm doing like binge eating.
Oh, my God. You're like covering for one addictive behavior with another. That's fun. Yeah, because most people probably almost exclusively use it just for sex and romance.
Yeah. Do you think maybe we should get towards the episode soon? But like, I guess, do you think it would be bad for people to have the holodeck? Because it's like, I guess this is always the question about boundaries and stuff like that. So if you're able to do whatever you want in this holodeck and have any experience, maybe that would warp your brain, you know? You could have this kind of, I guess it's like the things that we see now when if people are able to do these very extreme scenarios of different kinds, then maybe it's
the Grand Theft Auto problem, right?
Uh-huh.
It's if you spend a certain amount of physical and mental energy in a space where you're crossing ethical boundaries, does that bleed into your real life? Does it affect it at all? Does it have minor effects that can be treated? You know, I used to play video games like in the morning and at night, like think about them during the day at work. So I had to like stop doing them, right? So if that also included sex and violence performed by your body, like very strange.
Yeah, it would be.
There is, spoiler alert, there is a character at a certain point, well, more than one, I guess, that's using the holodeck in an unhealthy way. So it is addressed at some point, but not specifically with eating disorders. Well, back to this boat, or ship, rather. We meet Ensign Clancy, Geordi's assistant, who turns out to have been in something I watched recently, A League of Their Own, and the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes, which I have not watched, maybe. But A League of Their Own is great. She plays the first base person? I don't know. But she's barely in this episode. Makes me wonder if it was one of her first roles. I'm going to check. When was this? 1988? Yeah, 1988. She was in 2 episodes. Oh, fun. She's in The Emissary, which is later on this season. Oh, and the director is Rob Bowman, who goes on to great acclaim in The X-Files. Absolutely incredible guy. And the writer is presumably trans because their pronouns have changed since the original. Oh, and they added an A to the end of their name. I think they said she. Yeah, Brianna Lane, formerly Brian Allen Lane. Although this says he, so maybe they stuck with he, or yeah, you know how these things go. Oh, wow. Actively retired to the Kitsap Peninsula in Washington, which is like 30 minutes away from here.
Oh.
Where I am. That's fun. I could meet Brianna Lane. How exciting. All right. So, yeah, we got the boat. And they're going to go do a little Sherlock Holmesing to pass the time.
Yeah. It's funny how the boat is just ship, it's just a little side thing. It doesn't really matter.
Right. All it tells us is that there's a Starship Victory, and there also used to be a sailing ship Victory. Oh, and Geordi likes boats.
I wonder if the Victory is a real ship. Like this model, if it was based on a real ship.
Okay, the HMS Victory, so not the USS. It's a 104-gun first-rate wooden sailing ship of the line, which is a kind of warship. With 248 years of service as of 2026, she is the world's oldest naval vessel still in commission.
Oh, cool.
Okay, that is bonkers. So maybe they chose that in hopes that one day they'd be able to get the actual ship. Instead, they just have the model. And I wonder if that's the ship they use in Star Trek Generations when they it starts with like a holodeck on a ship thing.
That would be cool. It would be funny also if in the universe this is the same ship that he has kept, so that it's still sailing on Earth, and it's just like, this is this wooden ship.
Oh, that'd be great. Like it's not just in the holodeck, it's also back home.
Yeah. But fun. To talk about Data and the actual plot that comes is that I keep quibbling about this thing that Data is supposed to not have emotions, because it doesn't make sense. Like when it's just like, okay, I have, what does it say? He has a dream, like of I think Jordy says, okay, now I shared one of my dreams, and now we can share one of yours. I'm like, you can't have dreams if you don't have emotions. Like that doesn't make sense. I guess you could have like sleeping dreams, but I don't think that's what they mean.
Okay, you know how you anthropomorphize pets, and some people do with like cars and things, where you're like, you sort of ironically attribute human characteristics to them. I think the crew is inspired to do that with Data because he intellectually wants to be human, or like has a desire to fully understand it. I think that's how I headcanon anytime he smiles or expresses a little too much emotion for his character, is that he's trying to fit in with humans. And so he's like projecting that, whether he feels it or not.
That, I mean, yes, but I think that every desire is a kind of emotion. Like, I guess you could say, oh, he's just programmed to want this or something, but then how does that differ from an emotion?
I don't think we've learned yet whether he has them and they're suppressed, or whether he is incapable of them.
I feel like they have said that he has no emotions, but maybe it's just something that I have known from the kind of the cultural, like just the cultural in general, that I picked this up, that it's like, oh, he doesn't have emotions.
Yeah, I mean, Lore basically says as much, his brother, and Lore has emotions. And so that's part of the tension. We don't know if, like, we know Lore was first, I think. Was that established?
Oh, yeah, at least from what he said, but we don't really know maybe how truthful he was.
It's possible that Data is basically exactly like Lore, except his emotions have been stripped out or suppressed.
Yeah.
If he came second.
I guess for me, with my headcanon, it's like, I headcanon that he has emotions, but maybe they are not the same as humans. So it's not like you could have it. But like, I still feel like he has the ability to determine what he thinks is right and wrong. And like, he doesn't have, it's not like he has some kind of orders where he's just like, okay, according to these parameters that have been given, like this is right or wrong. Like he seems to have a kind of an idea of like morals and stuff. And I think then you have to have emotions in order to determine what is desirable and not, because that's what it comes down to. Like when you make decisions, like what do you prefer personally?
Right. Like he clearly has a drive to serve sentient beings and look out for, protect innocence and like save lives and stuff. He also has a drive to excel in Starfleet. And then he has this other drive, which is to fully understand humanity by becoming more human.
Yeah. It seems like he has interest in this. And I think that it's still like, in some senses, he doesn't have the same emotions as humans, but I still find it that he has some kind of desires, I suppose.
Yeah, it's tricky. So after the credits, they pop into the holodeck. Data says, select at random a mystery by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. It's so funny that he doesn't even consider that this will be no fun. Like, it doesn't even enter his mind.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like if someone had never done improv and then they started a scene based on Holmes, and so they just did whatever they knew Holmes would do in that
Yeah.
situation. Like, Data would be terrible at improv. Like, he'd get all the facts right, but none of the magic in between competing ideas.
Maybe, but I don't know. When he was joining Picard in that other detective story, he had a kind of a character, and I don't feel like that was just a character that he had lifted wholesale from the books, but maybe he had.
Oh, that's a great question to consider. I guess because we don't know the source material. It could be like a carbon copy of X character.
That's true.
Yeah.
And now in this story, he's very also trying to stay very, in character. But then we know like the character, so then it doesn't seem as, like you said, it's not like an improv thing. It's just he's using the actual facts and be like, okay, I should talk like this and do this.
Yeah, so Geordi asks what he's supposed to do, and Holmes is like, you mostly just write about what I'm doing.
Primarily as Dr. Watson, you will keep a written record of everything I say and do. For later publication.
Maybe also that's why he was mad. He's like, this is boring. I'm just writing.
Do you think he's actually writing, or is he just saying this and the computer is doing the
Good
writing
question.
for
Do
him?
they know how to write, like by longhand? Maybe it's just like they're just moving. It's like, okay, now I'm
He's
writing
just kind
this.
of waggling his pen a little bit.
Yeah, I like this idea. But I also was thinking about Sherlock Holmes because I was listening to a podcast that is called Booksheet that is covering different books, like classics. And in that one, they said that Sherlock Holmes was, I don't remember the exact description, but it was something about it's the character that has the most screen appearances of all characters.
That's amazing. I would have said something like Jesus or God
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
or Buddha or something like that.
But it could be that I got it wrong. Maybe it's like when, the stories that have been adapted the most times. But as far as I understood, it was like the character. And that makes me wonder if this one counts. When Data is being Sherlock Holmes and it's a Sherlock Holmes story, or is it only the ones where actual Sherlock Holmes is there?
Yeah, interesting.
Because you could imagine there's also a lot of different like Sherlock Holmes versions, where it's kind of like, oh, this is a Sherlock Holmes story, but this is a different person, like in different versions.
You could do young Sherlock Holmes, where he was like a hot young guy.
Yeah, and
Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, he is the real Sherlock Holmes, so that's like counts. But there was also apparently
you're meaning more inspired by like a Benoit Blanc from Knives Out.
I mean, maybe, but like it's more that, for example, there is what do you call it? There is a Japanese version, I think, where the Sherlock Holmes is like a woman and she has an assistant. And I think that probably then she's not called Sherlock Holmes, but it's still like the same source. So would that count as a Sherlock Holmes character? And also apparently there was some TV series back in the 90s or something where there was this Shirley Holmes, which was supposed to be an great-grandchild of Sherlock Holmes or something like that.
Oh, that's fun. Lucy Liu played Dr. Joan Watson on Elementary.
Oh, yeah. That's true. But that one does have a Sherlock Holmes, so that would count,
it's pretty
I would say.
faithful, at least in characters.
Yeah.
She's called Dr. Watson. Yeah, that's fun. So this Japanese one, she's a kid of Holmes?
No, this is two different ones. I think that the Japanese one, it is like a Sherlock Holmes character, but she's a woman, so I don't know anything about if it's like an historical one or a present or what. I never watched it.
Yeah.
But imagine, a Japanese woman would probably not be called Sherlock Holmes. So then is she the same character?
Okay. So we learn about the famous Holmes violin. And I'm like, something about Geordie, what Geordie says makes me think he's never read them. So I don't think he is writing this. I think he's reading out of that book what the computer is putting down.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Unless he's just kind of winging it.
I was wondering if all these were real objects that Data presented, like from the books. I imagine they would be, because why not just the real ones?
Yeah, I would think so, yeah. Maybe that's to tell Sherlock Holmes fans that, like, he's just drawing from previous works. Let's see. Lestrade comes in and asks Holmes to solve a difficult job. And it turns out that the guy with him is the criminal. And Data projects, like, anger at the guy, like righteous indignation. Thought that was interesting that he can't be emotional himself, but he can act emotional.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And I guess that made me think about when we talked about before about his emotions. Maybe it's just as simple as that. It's that he doesn't have emotions that are like, that he acts upon. That doesn't make sense. But like, what I mean is that maybe when we think about emotion, we think about someone like, oh, he's crying, he's angry, he is like laughing. And I think that those emotions he doesn't have, like in the sense that he doesn't have like this bodily reaction to his emotions, I suppose.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what's involuntary or voluntary. One, because we're not in his head, but also we're just never told. Like, he makes this mouth shape when Geordie bails on him as he looks around the thing, almost like he's trying to figure out what in that room pissed Geordie off.
Oh, yeah.
But the face he makes is very human, of like, did I do something wrong? What did I do? Whereas I think for him, it's more intellectual.
Yeah.
He says, Geordie, I was about to reveal the fact that the sir is in fact a madam.
Geordie, I was about to reveal the fact that the sir is in fact a man.
Geordie explains to him there in the bar. He says, no game, no fun. I was looking forward to the mystery.
Yeah.
I like that we get a little downtime to sort of explore what humans like about mysteries.
Yeah, I did too.
Dr. Pulaski's just like openly eavesdropping, starts busting Data's balls over like not being able to have fun or pretend.
Yeah.
You're wasting your breath, Lieutenant. Saying that to Data is asking a computer not to compute.
I feel like in theory it's fun to have a character that thinks Data isn't sentient, but I think that she's being kind of boring about it. Like, I think I would like it better if she was like, I don't know, maybe it's that if you're already on this ship and they're just being like, I don't like this, she seems too adversarial about it, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, it's like an older worker came to your office from somewhere with a different work culture or whatever, and like is saying some ignorant stuff or like hostile stuff, and you're like, that's not how we do things here.
Yeah, but I think maybe I feel like she's being too passive. She's just being like, she just has these opinions, but she doesn't like feel, she doesn't have any consequence of it. Like, does this mean that she thinks that Data should not be have the position that he has, or it's, I think that's why I don't really like it, that it's like, if he's so just whiny, just be like, you are not like a sentient person, and then she only wants to just say it to be like, to be rude, and then she doesn't really want to do anything about it.
This came up in the original Star Trek with Dr. McCoy and Spock, who was a Vulcan, and it doesn't I mean, obviously racism exists in all professions, especially in the 60s. Like, it wouldn't preclude a Southern doctor from being racist, but you would hope that doctors, because they meet everyone, would be more interested in people, where they come from, their culture. Like, but the more I'm saying it, the more I'm like, oh yeah, but doctors are typically very conservative. Like, being smart doesn't mean you can't be a dick, like, you know. So
Yeah.
I think what it is she's an older person set in her ways and isn't excited about learning a new culture.
Yeah.
I would constantly, anytime I met Data, I'd be like, Data, what kind of wild stuff have you gotten up to lately? Oh, that's fascinating. I want in, you know?
You would be more like Jordy, just being like supported.
Yeah, whereas she's like more jaded almost.
Yeah. But I think that I would be more fine if she was, when the situation arose, that she was being resistant. But now it feels like she's just, like you said, she's just eavesdropping, and she just goes in there and, like, without any prompting, it's like, oh, I don't like this person. It's like, you don't have to interact with him. You can just be somewhere else. So
the moment that crystallizes it for me is when she says, all you do is learn by rote memorization. When Jordy says, oh, doctor, I don't know about all that. That speaks to me of, like, when somebody says something racist or ableist in my presence and I, like, don't want to pick a nasty fight, I'll say something like that. Like, yeah, easy. Like, I don't know, man.
yeah, I could see that.
But people like this don't even pay attention. They just like keep moving.
Yeah.
Unless you're very explicit with them.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe it is realistic. You know, it could be that it's just because it's like when you meet people that are very upset about weird things, you're just like, why are you upset about this? Like, could you calm down? Do you have anything else? Maybe she doesn't have enough medical emergencies. She needs more work to do.
Oh, Pulaski. Pulaski is a controversial figure. A ton of viewers did not like her for reasons just like this. But I think part of it might be ageism and sexism, because Bones, Dr. McCoy in the original series, was like this, right? It was kind of snarky and dismissive a lot of times.
Yeah.
But he had a huge heart and, like, was very loving. And we're not getting that from Dr. Pulaski.
Yeah, I could see that. And I think it's just something about the way that she interacts. And I wonder if that is also part of, like, her being written as a woman. I don't know about this other character, how, like, but maybe it's something like she's being kind of a bit passive about her biases, you know, that she's just being there, like, making some commentary, but it doesn't affect the plot. It's not something that brings actual problems into the story, if you know what I mean.
Right. I mean, you could say it's the inciting incident, her challenging Data to solve mysteries that he doesn't know the end of, basically. Yeah. But it would be great if in the story, especially because she actually goes into it, it would be great if that tension led to something she did on her own agency. Instead, she's captured and talks to Moriarty and is kind of charmed by him.
That is interesting, though. I haven't thought about that, but he is also a non-sentient being then. Like, in her mind, you know, how would he be different from Data? So I didn't really think about that, but maybe that's part of the kind of
you know what?
interest with her character.
She seems nicer to Moriarty than she does to Data.
Yeah.
Maybe because she still thinks Moriarty is no threat. Like, he's not in Starfleet. He can't take over the ship and, like, kill everyone. He's just some hollow figure. Although, when she sees him summon the Arch, I could see the wheels turn in her eyes where she's like, oh no, he's behind all this shit. Yikes.
Yeah, true. But I guess I like it a little bit more in that sense that she's just like being charmed by this other artificial being and doesn't really seem to to put those two together.
Okay, I think this episode's really smart in this way. Maybe it didn't come across, but in the final draft, but like she is being doubly schooled. Not only can Data solve a mystery, well, does he solve this mystery, or does Moriarty just show up and
he doesn't
say
really,
his
but
piece?
that's because of the plot point that they decide for him to surrender.
Yeah. Well, anyway, leave Data out of it. Moriarty shows that he has very human desires, namely to live.
Yeah.
And that may be a teaching moment for her.
True. Maybe she likes Moriarty because he does seem to display feelings. So maybe it's just she doesn't like this calculating character.
Maybe Data's too uncanny valley for her, and it's
Yeah.
just causing this icky feeling.
I could see that. I could probably be freaked out by Data if he was an actual android walking around. I would be like, wait, like, what are you thinking?
My main concern with him is that somebody on the ship should be able to turn him off easily. Otherwise, he's a danger to everyone, which, spoiler alert, he is at some points.
Yeah, I mean, I could imagine that considering how many different like mind control things it seems to be in this universe. I could see. But I mean, do you mean like just because it's hard to kill? Because other humans you can't just turn off whenever you want.
Yeah, but you can shoot him.
Yeah.
Data's hard to shoot, and he can kill you with one swing of his fist, I think, if he wanted to.
Yeah. Couldn't they have some kind of net to trap him in?
Oh man, Star Trek should have nets.
Yeah.
There's nary a net in Star Trek.
I imagine just like a net falling from the ceiling, like bloop.
That would be awesome. Just stage him in convenient locations around the ship.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, you'll see a maintenance guy up there making sure the data net is in position.
And Data just like doesn't take it personally.
Until the episode where Data just slightly sidesteps out of the way as it comes down.
Yeah.
You cannot fool me, Doctor. So that's the Pulaski and Geordi thing. Oh, she says, where's the victory in winning a battle you can't possibly lose? Are you suggesting that there is some value in losing? That was interesting. Basically, humans lose more from failure. She says Data doesn't understand the soul. Geordi says she's being unfair, so they need the computer to make a new mystery. She says he won't have a prayer, so he invites her to join.
Yeah. I do think that machines do a lot of failure, right? That's very normal to just be like, run these simulations and stuff. It's like with the language learning models and stuff. They're just like, oh, maybe this works now. Maybe this works now.
Yeah. I think there's because it's a sci-fi show, right? Set in a certain time and place and context. And humans mostly relate to human characters and human stories. So they're trying to draw this distinction to teach us something. But yeah, of course, artificial intelligence would have to be able to make very fast simulations and project things.
Yeah.
But there is a subtle difference, which is they can't accurately predict the future in a human way. They do it in a different way.
Yeah, and maybe they feel like just simulating the future doesn't really count as failure. If Data is not actually trying these things, in reality it's just using all this data to try to analyze the best option. Maybe then it doesn't count as failure to just be like, oh, like simulation this version. Okay, didn't work. Simulation this version.
Right. Yeah. I mean, presumably in 99% of the time, Data would solve every mystery, but we're only watching the ones where you need human ingenuity to solve them.
Yeah. Maybe they should have a different show like that where, you have this AI and it's just so powerful that all the humans are like, it like causes problems because the humans feel meaningless and like.
Yeah, they're so bored.
Yeah, so they just like make up problems just because they don't have anything to do.
I can't think of a story like that, but I'm sure there is one. It's probably not on TV though. Too boring. So they punch in and they're going to get a Sherlock Holmes type problem not written by Arthur Conan Doyle. So they go in and it's this awesome street scene. It's Pulaski's first visit to a complex holo program with this level of sophistication. And then a kid runs by. Geordi and Pulaski are like, oh, it's a mystery. And then Data comes over and just solves it instantly. He says it was a ruse. The running youth was a ploy. Oh, look over there. It's Mr. Jabez Wilson, employee of the Red-Headed League. And again, Pulaski is like, ha ha, I got you, you dumbass. Fraud.
I'll give you credit for your vast knowledge, but your circuits would just short out if you were confronted with a truly original mystery. It's elementary, dear Data.
Oh, shit. Pulaski said he's drawing from all the Holmesian story elements he knows. So they're not sure. I think they're going to change. Oh, Geordi's like, oh, I know how to solve this problem. But as he goes outside, somebody's peeping on him.
Yeah.
It's an older gent with longish hair. I don't know if we've ever seen well, did the guys in Dixon Hill see the arch open? And express any interest in it?
I feel because they had one that wanted to leave, right? That went outside the holodeck.
Yeah.
So he would have seen the arch.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have seen this before, so we're not sure how sentient this guy is. He might just be a glitchy program.
Yeah. Although
so Geordi, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on when Data solved the mystery and we're just like, oh, it's the snake, and it would be interesting because it seemed like he was right in this situation, but it would be interesting if he was using the deduction in the wrong way, that he was just like, oh, but last time the murder was in a yellow house, so this must be the same. And it's like, you could make weird patterns. If you just go by the patterns, you wouldn't really necessarily be able to get the mystery, if you know what I mean.
Right. Well, I think that's what Geordi is hoping for. If the computer knows to mix things up in a way that Data couldn't predict, then the game will be more fun. Like if the snake bit Geordi and killed him, for example.
Yeah, that's true. But what I mean is that I don't feel like we see Data being tripped up by that. He's still being able to, even in the new version, he's just like, oh, this is just a distraction. But it would have been funny if he was like, if he was somehow tricked by trying to use the same the same clues as from the previous mysteries or something.
Well, and by Moriarty just ignoring the game entirely and wanting to get onto the ship, it takes away that opportunity, right?
That's
Suddenly
true.
we don't need Data to solve a mystery. We need something else to happen.
Yeah.
So Geordi says, in the Holmesian style, create a mystery to confound Data with the opponent who has the ability to defeat him. And then create an adversary capable of defeating Data. On the bridge, Worf notices an odd power fluctuation, and then it goes away.
And that's always a bad sign. It's like, a lot of power.
Now, I don't know this for sure, but I think if this was a regular Navy ship, they would be like, engineering, could you track down this power fluctuation, find out what it was? Whereas here, they're just like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Another example of Worf being bad at his job.
I know. Yeah, it's kind of like, since it went away, then it doesn't matter. So only if it had stayed, they would have to fix it. But yeah, it does seem kind of, especially if you don't have a lot to do, you're just waiting. Why not check? Like,
right,
hey,
they
what
have
is
3
this
days
about?
to wait. Like,
Yeah.
put Clancy on it. That lady we just met.
Yeah, no, she has the guard ship. The actual, small ship.
Oh man, I love this bit. So this man puts on a top hat and he says, "I feel like a new man." That dark fellow there used the word arch, and then I wonder. Arch. And then the arch shows up.
Yeah.
We've never seen this before. Hollows being able to control tech.
Yeah, and it's fun because it kind of makes you imagine that you are this person. If it would be a normal day and you just walk around and then you see someone just conjure an arch in the street. So we are kind of the Moriarty in this situation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, we're more the blonde lady with him who's like, I have zero context for any of this.
That's
what
true.
the hell is going on? Whereas he's like, a mystery.
Yeah, that's true also.
The computer asks him if he wants to input some commands. He says no. And the lady goes, "Dark magic, Moriarty!" and runs off. And he says, "The best kind, I'm sure."
Dark magic, Moriarty!
The best kind, I'm sure.
So next we find out that Dr. Pulaski has been kidnapped. Or do we see the dead body first?
I'm a little bit unsure. I didn't put in when she was kidnapped because I put in with the dead body. But yeah.
I mean, it happens one right after the other. So
Yeah.
But yeah, he says that she's been kidnapped by 2 men. Geordi's like, "How do you know all this?" And he explains his puzzle solving. He says, "The game is afoot. Come, Watson."
That's true. I think that's before because that's when he deduces the kidnapping in the mud, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, and he says something about rubber soles for experimenting with electricity.
Yeah.
We know that she is gagged. Since the ground is level, we must conclude that Dr. Pulaski is struggling against one of her captors, sporadically knocking him off stride. Deduction, pure and simple. Well, not that simple. So that's like smugness.
Yeah.
But Sherlock Holmes was notoriously smug, so I think he's just play acting here.
That's true. He has to be in character. Geordie is bad at staying in character. He's several times like missing it. Even before
I mean, when you're playing video games, like, it's not really necessary. You know what I mean?
No, that's true.
Unless you're playing a role-playing game with other people. Like, if Data cared that Geordie was out of character, like, that's one thing. There's an episode of Star Trek Lower Decks where people are playing a holodeck adventure together, and one of them is, like, eating chips, and she's like, "You're eating?" And he's like, "Gotta have chips."
You gotta have chips!
She did not like it. Let's see. So all of a sudden, Geordie's loving it. He asks if Data is using story elements, and Data says no. He's explaining his deductions from the clues. And then they both say, "Footfalls!" Data says, "I dare say we have caught up rather nicely with our quarry." Comes upon a murder, and he says, "It's murder, Holmes. Murder most foul." Oh, maybe that was Lestrade saying that. Geordie gets down and pretends to be a doctor. He says that the dead man was strangled from behind. But Data explains what really happened. The guy was drinking. He slipped. His drinking buddy strangled him. And then that it was a lady afraid of her recently released convict man. And she strangled him with a beaded scarf, which you can tell by blah, blah, blah.
It's kind of depressing. They just leave and it's like she will be killed or something for murder.
Yeah, I mean, it's... Yeah, would it happen this quickly in a Sherlock Holmes story? I think it would. Maybe it would be the jumping off point to something else.
Yeah, I could see that. But I don't know if it would be like someone being actually committed. Or what do you call it? Yeah, when they are put away or something. But we don't know what happens if she could explain it away or something.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like the computer just gave him a bone because like the game truly is about Pulaski and Moriarty.
Yeah. That's true, and that's what the computer created, yeah. So I don't know, I think that the body is just a little bit of a red herring then. But, I mean, I do think it's interesting in terms of Data's emotionlessness, because he's just like, oh, I'm solving the mystery, and there's no, like, actual, there's no human element to it. It's not like, oh, what is it moral or not, or like, do I have any... I mean, of course, these are not sentient, I presume. I don't know. Maybe they are. Like, maybe this woman is just, like, suffering from this bad life.
Well, in the book, like, Watson would sort of try to comfort somebody related to the scene. Maybe the murder victim, or I mean murderer, has a sister or something, but Sherlock Holmes wouldn't give a shit.
That's
He'd
true.
be on to the next thing.
Yeah, you're right. So Data could be excused with that as well in this situation.
And again, it's just a game, so Geordie's not going to fuck around on side quests.
Yeah. But I guess it made me question, if all of them are created. And, it's one of those things. Have you heard there's a philosophy, I don't know if it's like one particular person or if it's some kind of branch of philosophy, but they say it's wrong to play video games because you have created kind of creatures that want to live, and then you're killing them. And then even if they are not like human, it's still like kind of like cruel.
Yeah, I mean, what does a want to? Like, are we just lying to ourselves that they don't have desires?
Yeah,
to live?
I mean, are they different from like insects? And we would feel maybe it's cruel to just like torment insects for no reason.
Yes. I mean, that's the whole basis behind John Scalzi's Red Shirts, right? Is that every time we write some shitty story where we kill somebody for no good reason, just to raise the stakes or whatever. Like this guy is dead, not because a woman was afraid of her life, but because the computer just made him up.
But I guess I feel like the holodeck is more higher stakes than if you make something up in your mind. Although you could question that as well, I suppose.
I would hope that if video game characters started advocating for our rights, for their rights, that we would regulate it somehow.
But they're trying to run away, There's been like a lot of characters. They're just like, I don't want to be killed, and then we kill them.
But is that just a writer's trick, or is that character, its sprites and bits, truly care about its own life?
No, I mean, but yeah, I'm just saying that is a video game character more or less sentient than like an ant, and then is it wrong to kill the ant or not? And what I mean in this case, we know that this Moriarty character is sentient. So does that mean that he is that other characters that are created in this world are also sentient? And does that mean then that they created this woman just for her to have this sad backstory and then be killed in some kind of trial or put in prison?
Yeah. Now, presumably, she's never going to go to trial because this program ends.
Yeah.
But if Moriarty is kept alive, will his entire milieu stay the same? If he starts killing people again, will they stay dead? What's going to happen in there?
Yeah.
I don't think we ever find out what his life is like in there.
But I thought that maybe he's just paused and they say, oh, maybe at some point we'll start you up again. But really, they're just like...
Oh, just pause.
Yeah, they just put him on pause.
Oh. If they just put him on pause, he's on the hook for a ton of murders and thievery and shit. He's not getting a... Oh, but he doesn't care about that world. He only cares about real life.
Yeah.
So I guess it doesn't matter. I'd like to believe that they set him up with an entire fake universe so that whether he wants to stay in his current context where it's a full life being in the Victorian age, or he could step out into a fake version of the Enterprise and then see the entire galaxy.
Oh.
Like it's his choice. He could go back and forth, you know. The only trouble there is he knows so much about the Enterprise that could he then do some shenanigans? Like, I mean, it's like a demon escaping from prison, right? Like he'd have to have like people on the outside help, you know, and somehow he'd have to reach them.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few Star Trek episodes like that where a computer convinces people in the real world to let him out or to do his bidding.
I am Agamus, and I think you and I could do awful things together.
Let's see, where are we? They follow Moriarty's trail of breadcrumbs, and they arrive at the secret entrance to Moriarty's lab. They do. Geordi asks or says, then you don't know what's coming next. That's what I want to hear. Data deduces that it's Professor Moriarty, and Geordi goes, now this is getting interesting. They find some barrels. Data says they were meant to follow this trail. He finds some scratches. It's a secret door. The other side is a bookcase in the secret lab. So the boys start peeking around. And one of them says, finally, we have a game worth playing. And Moriarty enters and he says, the time for games are over.
Yeah, very dramatic.
And weirdly, he seems to understand what they're talking about. Usually people in the holodeck, when you talk about like meta conversation and stuff about the ship, that it just goes right over their head. Whereas he's like responding directly to that stuff.
Yeah.
They ask him if he's been interrogating Pulaski. He's like, no, I just learn from her denials and stuff. If he tries to talk to her and she pretends not to know the answer. They ask if he's injured her, and he says, I will if necessary. He starts talking about how he's confused by his new thoughts. I have felt new realities at the edge of my consciousness, readying to break through. And Geordi's like, Data. He's so freaked out.
Yeah.
Moriarty knows about the computer. And then he hands Data a piece of paper and the music swells. Data heads off and Geordi follows kind of frantically.
I like that Geordi does like funny skip past Moriarty when he passes him. Like really funny.
Well, I mean, if you just found out that a holodeck character has become sentient, like holodeck characters can fucking kill you just as easily as Data, right?
Yeah, I like
if they have controls over the parameters.
Yeah,
so of course you skip
funny.
past him and run.
Yeah, it's like almost like he's like, oh, I want to go the other way. And this is like having to like edge past him.
They go back in and I think Moriarty says, why does it frighten you, Holmes?
Wait, isn't this when they leave to talk to Picard?
Yeah, Moriarty has overwritten Data's control of the holodeck, so it's time to see the captain. On the way, Data shows Geordi the picture. Geordi is freaked out. He's like, that is impossible. I don't understand. He asks if Pulaski is in danger, and he says he is in grave danger.
Yeah.
Or he says she is in grave danger. Cut to the conference room. Everybody's there, all the senior officers. Somehow Moriarty spoofed Geordi's commands, so he's now in complete control.
Yeah, I like when they talk to the ship, and the ship is just like, oh, Geordi gave me these commands. He's like, ah! He doesn't have any idea.
Dimed him out.
Yeah.
He asked for an opponent worthy of Data rather than Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
And Picard says shit in French.
Merde.
Which is a funny choice. I mean, basically it means that in Canada, they'll have to beep it, or in France, unless they don't have those kind of censorship rules.
I didn't think about that. Maybe they could change it with some voiceover and be like, make a different one.
Oh, yeah, they turn it to a less common language. So Moriarty has access to the computer and the library data.
Yeah.
Worf offers to sweep the holodeck and capture or rescue the doctor. Data says it's probable that our mortality failsafe has been overridden.
Which is like, why is that an option? That is probably the most, if you think about all the different ways that the holodeck is working weirdly, I think that one seems like it should not be an option. Yeah.
The only reason that should be an option is if it's only to be used in grave emergencies because it has this fatal flaw, or I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt here. There are a very select number of times when they use it to create something that needs to be dangerous for whatever reason. But it happens so rarely that, maybe it should be a big engineering challenge to take away the failsafe,
Yeah.
Whereas just about anybody can fuck up the failsafe. Now, the one time we see somebody do it intentionally, they are a very gifted engineer. So maybe it's hard to do directly.
Yeah. Maybe it was an error, normally it wouldn't happen, but the way that Geordi asked this very specific question just happened to trigger this. It was like, maybe it was connected somehow to the computer's understanding of data. So data somehow fucked it up, when they used him as the measurement.
That'd be funny if every subsequent time this happens is because it broke trying to beat data.
Yeah, I could see that.
Left
just
this
being
fatal error.
Confused about it.
But in real life, if anything was that dangerous, they'd take it offline and fix it.
Yeah. Yeah, but we don't know. Maybe you can't take it offline. It's gonna be all confused. But I could see holodecks in general being allowed to be deadly, because it could be some situations where maybe some people feel like, I have to be able to die, otherwise this is not exciting or something. But I feel like on a ship, you probably wouldn't want that. But if it was,
you gotta sign a waiver.
Yeah.
Because if you're suicidal, do you really want crew members offing themselves?
No.
Combat simulations, I could think maybe for training, if you're playing a sport or conditioning for battle, you need bruises and
bruises is another thing, but I think that just dying seems not very practical.
As soon as you're severely injured, it should immediately send you to sick bay.
Yeah.
And put you in stasis, And
it could be that normally, even if it could be kind of a binary situation where it's either you are totally invulnerable or you can actually be hurt, and maybe then it's hard to distinguish how much can you be hurt and in which way. So it could be some kind of on and off thing where, but I would feel I feel like on this kind of ship where it's everybody is there for a kind of a specific mission, they're already doing something dangerous. But I think on Earth or something, they might have some kind of weird, dangerous holodecks where people could be killed.
Yes. Well, I mean, if you think about it, if you don't have the pressure to work, you gotta burn off energy somehow. And some freaks are out there bungee jumping and skydiving anyway. Why not blood sport? I don't know. Whatever dangerous thing they do in the future.
Yeah. But I feel, I wonder how appealing it would be to actually risk your life, because I think that it just seems like our instincts would be afraid no matter what. So I would imagine you could do parachute jumping, and even if you knew that it was fine, you would not. You would still feel like it was exciting.
Right. You have all the physical sensations. That's the sense I get in Star Trek. Like, there's no real good reason to turn off the safety protocols completely because, like, the fear of death isn't really necessary in any given situation.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like, when you die in a test at the academy, you don't die. Like, the program turns off.
Yeah. And it would be more like you would learn better if you actually were allowed to die, but it's not for real. Because then you could really test your limits. You could be like, okay, how far can I jump? And you would just jump, and then you'd be like, oh, that's too far. I died. Like we talked about how, learning from your errors.
But, like, are you sent to sickbay before you hit the ground or after?
Good question.
Like, how mushed are you?
Yeah, maybe you get a little bit hurt, and then it's like, ow! But yeah, it makes me think about the culture books. Have you read those?
I haven't.
By Ian Banks. In that one, it's like the people who live in the culture society, they live in this post-scarcity, like utopian society. And the thing is, some people can't handle it, and they're just like, oh, I don't like this, it's too nice. And then they become these like agents who are doing all these missions and stuff outside of the culture. And then, some people are just really struggling, like trying to fill their life with some meaning, and they do like this weird stuff where they like play these elaborate board games and stuff. And I don't know. The weird thing is I feel like I should like those, but I've not liked any of the ones that I read.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea. Let's see. Worf offers the thing, failsafe. Oh, Riker suggests destroying everything in the holodeck. Geordi says that could wipe out. It could wipe them all out, but Dr. Pulaski would be killed as well. Troy senses a single consciousness trying to bring it all into focus. Data says that Moriarty was given consciousness. Now, here was my question. This is like, could God make a rock big enough that he can't lift it? Like, how on earth can a non-sentient computer create consciousness? Like, that is chilling.
Yeah.
Could it do this anytime it likes?
Yeah. Or is that computer sentient somehow? Is that
the Enterprise computer?
Yeah, is that like a proof that this computer has to be sentient, even if they don't show it or like display it?
Oh my God. If that had... talk about a missed opportunity. I mean, it would be a whole other episode. Like the question of, is our ship sentient? Like that would be, that would need to be addressed. But nobody addresses it in this one. So Picard wants to go down there with Data.
Yeah, the other characters have kind of a vacation, like the other actors. They're just there for like this conference scene, and then it's like, okay, that's over.
Well, I mean, Troy is a counselor. You're dealing with essentially what is a first contact situation.
Yeah.
She should be there.
I agree.
So back in the holodeck, Pulaski is having her nice chat with him. She doesn't seem afraid that he'll murder her at all.
No.
I mean, is this an acting choice, or are we meant to think he is now completely disarming?
I would say, yeah, I mean, I took it that she is kind of scared, but she's also feeling like he's being very civil, so she can't help but just feel kind of like, oh, this is fine,
Yeah, she does point out that he's not like he is in the books. So maybe he has like a constant menace. I haven't read Sherlock Holmes in a while. Maybe he's really hostile or flies off the handle or something.
Yeah. I never read any book where he's in, so I wouldn't know what is in the original.
Yeah, I can't remember which stories he's in.
Yeah. And then he says, like, to her, he says, like, you're not frightened of me? And he seems a little bit hopeful, you know, and he seems like kind of like, ooh, you know, it's like he's happy about it or something.
Mm.
And then when she's just like, no, and he's like, you should be, you know, and I kind of wonder about the... I mean, I liked it, but it's just, I was interested if it was supposed to be like, that this was something that was... that had an effect on him, or if he was just doing a game with her.
Yeah, it's a bit like Dolores in Westworld. At a certain point, she realizes that all of her drives are simulated, and she's something new. And so if she pretends to care about some Old West shit, it's just to trick the other robots or other guests, hosts? No, guests and hosts.
Yeah, the guests are the humans.
Yeah. So, but she, now all of a sudden she's working on a whole different level. That's what it seems to be here. Like, he's like, oh, I'm a computer program. I don't need to be evil anymore. Like, that's not going to serve me out wherever I want to go.
Yeah.
Almost as if he learned about the Federation and Starfleet, and he's like, they don't like evil people, so I'll be neutral or decent or whatever.
Yeah. I guess it would have been interesting to see him a little bit before he became this. Like, if we could have somehow started with him or something and seen, like, what he was like, to be able to see him changing.
Let's pretend there was a cutscene where he tricks that woman into killing her husband simply to draw them to his location.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun bit of fan fiction. So, like, he's still evil because, yeah, we just see him kind of lurking in the alley, and then he doesn't seem to change that much. Like, if he was really nasty to his companion, whoever that woman was.
Yeah. We should read one of the short stories, or if it's a full novel, I don't know which ones he's in.
That's a great idea. I just looked up Professor Moriarty. He first appears in The Adventure of the Final Problem.
Mm-hmm. That's funny that the first story is the final problem.
Yeah, that is weird. He also plays a role in the final Holmes novel, The Valley of Fear, but without a direct appearance.
What? I thought
and then he's mentioned
died.
in other stories.
Everybody comes back to life.
When does he die? He dies at Reichenbach Falls.
Yeah.
Oh, so The Valley of Fear is set before the final problem.
Oh, okay.
But written afterwards. So it's a prequel.
Okay. Yeah, I think Doyle was kind of annoyed with Sherlock Holmes because it was too popular, and he had some other novels that he wrote, and it was like some kind of, I don't remember, like some kind of historical fiction or something, and then people didn't like those, or they didn't like notice them, so he was like, I'm gonna kill this character off so I can do other books.
Well, yeah, I mean, Martha Wells' Murderbot is so popular, but not as many people have written her demon character in, what's it called? Witch King? Is that what it's called? I think it's called Witch King.
Yeah.
It's very good. But it's no Murderbot.
Oh, now she's going to kill Murderbot so that people have to read that ones.
Where were we? Moriarty doesn't know how he made the ship shake. So Pulaski's like, I didn't know you could call the Arch. Surely the holodeck has records. Oh, this is my note. Surely the holodeck has records of public programs. Maybe he doesn't have security access. But imagine if he started going to other holodeck programs, like he's at the beach or he's driving a race car.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to go through everything to get out.
That would be really cool. I think if they had more budget for scenes, they could have had him switched around and just being like, no, we're in this like totally different environment.
Oh, man. They're like hunting him. They're always a step behind.
Oh, yeah. That would be great.
God, he says something to Pulaski. She doesn't respond. So he says, "Your every silence speaks volumes."
Mm.
Oh, that's when she says, I'm not saying anything. What are you pretending to learn from me? He says that she's bait for Picard. So she plays dumb. She says, "Who is that?" And he goes, "How well you know." Oh, he also draws a nice picture of the Enterprise on the chalkboard.
Mm.
Outside the holodeck, Worf has appeared in a suit. Riker says, "Nice suit." And Worf says, "Thank you."
It looked very weird on him.
It sure did.
It is confusing that, in the stories, they have to wear specific clothing, but it doesn't matter what their faces look like. Like, no one is commenting like, "Oh, why are you wearing like this visor? And why are you having like alien face?"
Well, Moriarty really should be like, "Now, I'm noticing that Data is silver. What's going on there?"
Yeah.
But I guess he's already read the ship's records, so he knows.
Yeah. But isn't it weird that the characters, like the fictional characters, they're like programmed to notice the clothes but not the face? Maybe it's because people are supposed to dress up. It's part of the holodeck experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the fun. I think technically the holodeck could beam clothes onto you as you walk in.
Mm.
But that was not, they couldn't do that with the effects at the time, so wouldn't have thought of it probably. But they should implement that now.
Maybe it's part of it also to like replicate the clothes and to kind of like have it, so that you're like entering, maybe you're ready before and you can enter with it.
I mean, yeah, when you're playing a part, the costume is often a sort of catalyst for finding the performance.
Yeah. Although I think in this situation where it's like emergency, then it would be fine to use just the projected clothes. It's just like, I have to dress.
I would love to do a Trek episode where like the crew runs in and they're all of a sudden in the right outfit.
Mm.
So the holodeck is collapsing or like, losing power in certain areas. So you can see the roof over the houses. Folks are gasping. It made me think like, is this coal fog from that time? Like London was all full of coal smoke, or is the oxygen being depleted?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what he was trying to do, but it seemed like he was doing something evil. Like he was just like, "Oh, I want to have this place where people are just like suffering."
Oh, I do enjoy that idea. He's like, "Oh, I can make everyone gasp for lack of air. That'll be fun."
So maybe it didn't change so much.
Yeah, this whole episode would be different if, like, on the other side of the lab, there's people caged. There's like, he's like shocking a chimpanzee. He's got a wall made of skin. I don't know what Moriarty gets up to. But yeah, he's trying to alter the programming. Picard finds a tuppence on the ground, a little coin. He says, "It's supposed to be good luck. We may need some." Then a knife man tries to rob them. And Picard's like, "Data," and Data takes him down.
Yeah. I always think it's funny in visual media when characters have this superhuman strength. It's always like a kind of a funny visual gag, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, he's just holding this guy's thumb, and the guy's like, "Oh, don't break my thumb."
Yeah. Wouldn't he be able to, like, I guess he's in so much pain he can't do anything, but wouldn't you fight against it, like punching or doing something?
Well, this is a common technique in defensive martial arts where if you get somebody's bones and muscles in just the right angle, it hurts them if they go in a certain direction, and you're kind of guiding them so they can't get out of that situation. Now, just squeezing a guy's thumb, I don't know.
Yeah, but that makes sense. That maybe he feels like he can't really push forward against it or something.
Maybe every time he moves, Data squeezes it a little bit more.
Yeah, probably.
So what's next? He lets the guy go. Oh, but they learn that the failsafe has been circumvented. The safety protocols. So they enter the warehouse. Spooky music. Moriarty's standing next to this weird steampunk machine. I'm a civilized abductor, Captain. Civilized, but still dangerous. And he shakes the ship. Up on the bridge, Riker and Troy are bending against the shake.
Imagine everyone else in the rest of the ship. It's like, oh, the ship is shaking.
Yeah, let's cut people in the shower falling down. Guy cooking, flipping pancakes or whatever. Throwing pizza pie.
Mamma mia!
So Pulaski's just been sitting here gorging on crumpets. And this is where I ask, why isn't Troy involved? Again, first contact, dangerous enemy, like she's good with people. Seems logical.
Yeah.
Maybe, he doesn't want to risk normal human people because they could easily die, whereas Data's a little more durable.
Yeah.
But he should still be on comms with her because she can use her power over vast distances.
Yeah, and she could advise.
Yeah. But this is season 1.
Actually, it's season 2.
Troy doesn't do that. So Picard tells Moriarty that he's won. Like, basically, the way these programs work is they end if you win or lose. So Data gives in, says you've won. Moriarty calls Data Mr. Data. And he says that he has grown. Shakes the ship again. So Picard starts doing diplomacy. He asks what he wants. And Moriarty says the same thing you want for yourself, to continue to exist. He starts talking about Data. Matter is what I am not. Picard explains that he has substance, but only here. He's only an image. And Moriarty asks if Data has life. He says, is the definition of life cogito ergo sum? I think, therefore I am. And Picard acknowledges. Moriarty says he's no longer an evil character. I am alive and I am aware of my own consciousness. He wants to be free, and then he says, or murder me, which is very interesting, but common for slaves and prisoners to consider, death as the one other option.
Yeah, and I thought this was interesting in that when we first are introduced to this story, we don't think that this is what it's gonna be about in the end, but it still ties well together because you're asking at the start, like, okay, is Data sentient? And then you bring in this other character. It's like, oh, is he sentient then? And then it becomes like this question about, in some ways, both of them to question this.
Yeah, I mean, all this stuff is good. I love this. I love Picard. It's his job to do diplomacy. However, just Data and Moriarty talking it out, that could have been really interesting.
That's true. Picard does seem to take a lot of stuff over. I think in a modern show, he would not have as big of a role. But here it almost feels like all the time it's like, oh, I will deal with it, and it's always like he is the solver. He's like, what do you call it when you're like micromanaging? This is coming in. No,
Yes.
I mean it's always critical, but I just think it's funny. It's like always like, okay, I will fix it.
Yeah. He wants to be free. He wants it or death. He's really sad, which again, like, him talking to Data and explaining to Data what it's like to be sad. That could be very interesting. He says, "What I have seen, what I have learned fascinates me. I do not want to die." And Picard says, "And I do not want to kill you." In the end, Moriarty cancels the override. He says, "My fate is in your hands, as perhaps it always was. Madam, I have enjoyed your company."
Madam, I have enjoyed your company.
And she just looks on kindly, but doesn't get a line. Picard says the computer has vast memory stores. They're going to save this program until they can bring him to life for real.
And this is what I thought, that they save him as in like just putting him in stasis.
Right.
But you think that maybe the program is still running?
I feel like it would be more humane to let someone have a life rather than freeze their life. However, if that's not a life they want, freezing is the only option. And it seems like that's what Moriarty wants. He doesn't want to have a fake life.
Yeah. Although you would think that you could have, as long as if he's allowed to be in the simulation, he could still learn about things outside of it. But yeah, I feel like, yeah, it's like, also because he's still dangerous. If he's, no, I guess he doesn't have the access anymore. But I'm thinking he could theoretically be dangerous if he's stuck in the simulation, maybe. But yeah, if he's getting a real body, then he's gotten what he wanted.
I would give him a sort of like home base, like a Starfleet Academy or something, like where he can have access to all the knowledge in the universe. And like you check in with him every week and be like, "Do you want us to pause you for a few hundred years? Like, where are you at?" That way he doesn't become isolated and insane.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Especially because computers run faster than real life. So he could have 1 million lifetimes in a year.
No, that's true. Yeah, you could have him running, but maybe you could set the simulation to run slower if you wanted to. And choose the
run in real time even.
Yeah. Or even slower. So it's like 1 year. It's just like a day for him or something.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
With Picard, I guess we'll get to this. And maybe I will comment at the end.
I would say, though, I think freezing is the best option because he might have fun and learn things and stuff, but he knows that he is fundamentally different from everybody he meets. Like they are all just made up.
Yeah.
So that probably wouldn't be very satisfying.
No, I imagine not. But maybe the others could visit him.
Oh, yes. People could visit him. He could be like, well, I guess it's kind of like being a prisoner, though.
Yeah, it would be.
Or maybe like a hospital patient that's not allowed to leave a particular kind of a bubble boy situation.
Yeah, that's true.
He could be like, could you take me to Vulcan? I want to see it with sensors or something. But I guess that's not very different from just simulating it. Oh, but you could interface physically with people on different planets. You could, yeah. Interesting. There are holodeck characters in the future that do ask to be left on, which is fun. But this is like the germ of that idea right here.
Yeah. And I wonder then, there would be a lot of different characters. That actually does remind me, there was one culture book that I did like, and I'm not going to go into it because it would be a spoiler to talk about it in specifics, but in that one there was a kind of a simulation situation where, and there were some characters that they lived in this simulation, and then it becomes like, okay, so now they are free, where should they go, and they would have to figure out like where to put these simulations. And they didn't really have physical bodies.
Oh, so almost exactly like this situation. That's fun. So Pulaski seems to have made a real connection for her. He's like, I'd love to see you again, basically. And she goes, time won't pass for you, but I may be an old woman. And he says, but I'll still fill you with crumpet, madam. And I was like, that's a little interesting. I don't know what shape crumpets are. That's probably not that suggestive.
I'm feeling like they're shaped like a half moon, but I do not know.
Yeah. I'll still fill you with crumpets, madam. So I'm like, is he in love with Catherine? I know they just met, but awfully familiar.
Yeah.
But instead of being in a laughing mood, I was deeply moved, which I was surprised by.
Yeah, I think this actor was good. You know, we got a lot of the character's humanity in like his plea for living and all this.
Yeah. So we're near the end of our time. So the button on the episode is just a little business about Geordi's ship. My sense is that Picard is checking in on Geordi to see how he's doing after this traumatic experience.
Yeah, and I think also kind of reassuring him that he's not in trouble.
Yes. Oh, I like that. Okay, so we'll skip recommendations and plugs. So I think unless you have something you desperately want to recommend.
Not really. We did talk a little bit about different things during the time, so I guess people have gotten some what would you say? Some ideas.
Got some good ideas. Yeah, some I know I mentioned something back there that was really good, but I didn't write it down. Oh, there's I was going to say culture, but you were kind of mid on recommending that.
Yeah, I mean, I will say a lot of people love it. You know, it's people who... So I wouldn't say like, oh, these are bad books. It's just I didn't like them.
Okay, the next one, The Outrageous Okona, is pretty bad. But the character comes back years down the line in a Star Trek Prodigy episode. So I would say if you ever plan to watch Star Trek Prodigy, maybe you want to go back and watch The Outrageous Okona.
Okay.
Loud as a Whisper. I don't even remember that one. There's a deaf mediator, and Troy is the thumbnail. You know, I like any chance Troy gets to do something, but not sure about that one. The Schizoid Man. I'll pick one of these, and we'll do it next time, unless you want to take a break and get into a different show.
No, we can do another one, but we can see about. We talked a little bit about doing a book in between. We can.
That
check
short
in on
story.
that.
Didn't we talk about the Sherlock?
That
story?
too. That's true. Yeah.
That would be weird. I don't know if you can call it speculative fiction, but we can get away with it.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we want to do a whole episode? Maybe it would be enough to just be like, I read it, like I liked it or didn't like it. I don't know if I want to do a whole recap of the story.
Sense. Okay, well, I'll look at these episodes. Oh, Measure of a Man is about 5 episodes ahead. That one's extremely good. But I'll do a little research and we'll see. If in the meantime we do something else, folks, hey, you enjoy it. All right. Thank you. Have yourself a wonderful evening and goodbye.
Thank you. Good day.
Dark magic, Moriarty!
The best kind, I'm sure.
A huge thanks to James Lark of jameslark.co.uk for providing our wonderful theme song. Thank you, James.
This is getting interesting.